How do you not get bored? It's a good question, you know? For someone who has played a lot of Minecraft, more than the average person probably should, it's a question that comes up a lot, you know? There seems to always be a challenge on finding that motivation to go past maybe, starting a mine, getting some diamonds, maybe setting up a few farms, killing the Ender Dragon, maybe even getting an Elytra. Where do you go from that? Well, that could be an interesting question to answer, but I think a couple things that have helped me kind of push forward as far as that getting bored phase and finding things that I find interesting to do is honestly committing longer to a world. Now, what I mean by that is if you have a world, let's say for example that you have farms for different types of resources that you don't usually have. Like for example, if you ever have a guardian farm in your world, that unlocks more resources. And for me, having those unlocked new resources was something that sparked different build palettes, which then kind of curated the idea for this Project Nova here, kind of being like a futuristic neon type build with all of these prismarine resources as well as sea lanterns being kind of like a neon light source block that are for my build here. Like another example in this project of a resource that kind of came in handy that you don't normally have is frog lights, right? I built a frog light farm, I think kind of when they came out, if I remember correctly. And, I've always been looking for a place to use them and trying to figure out where it can be used with the colors that it goes with, maybe the textures that it fits, is something that can get your mind going and kind of sometimes spark you an idea that you might actually kind of, see something cool in. The whole building process of farms and what those resources can do for you is, I think, one of the biggest things that can honestly help you not get bored of a world. Because when we start worlds so often, we always go through the phase of the house, the enchantments, the mining, and then once you're kind of done, you take a break and then you start a world in like 2 months. And I think, honestly, making resources available to you through farms is a big way to help you keep interest in a world. Another thing I think is obviously try new things. For me, I'm not really a builder, so trying to force myself to put myself in different situations of building, I think, kind of pushes me out of my comfort zone and gets me something a little new to try that I don't normally do. So I definitely think trying things new, especially things that, you might not feel you're good at. You don't actually have to make everything perfect. You just have to, try your best and make what you like and keep moving on. I definitely think that one thing that I've been struggling with is I always want my stuff, my builds, to look as best as I can to uphold with everything I've done in the past, but I feel like that's kind of losing the initial spark of what I had when building things, which is that you just do it. You don't really hyper analyze. You don't really, super care about if it looks good enough to match or to be better than the last thing. I think that you just kind of should build, and obviously, if all else fails, if you're really getting bored of the game, it's always okay to take a break as well. You don't need to force yourself to play in things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, those are some of the things that I think help me from not getting bored. So, let me know what you guys have as well.